boys and girls. It's Miss Mullen here. I'm at my home library with my fake bookshelf. Um, I thought I would read to you today Biblioburro, one of my favorite stories about a real life man. He's a teacher and a librarian and educator in Colombia. His name is Luis Soriano. Some of the older students I have know that I love reading about him every year around the beginning of the school year because he runs a very unusual library in Colombia called the Biblioburro. This book is by Jeannette Winter and it's a true story. So let's begin. This book was published in 2010. Deep in the jungles of Colombia, there lives a man who loves books. His name is Luis. As soon as he reads one book, he brings home another. Soon his house is filled with books. His wife, Diana, grumbles, "What are we going to do, eat books with our rice?" Luis thinks long and hard, and at last an idea pops into his head. I can bring my books into the faraway hills to share with those who have none. One burro could carry books, and another burro could carry me and more books. Luis buys two sturdy burros, and he names them Alpha and Beto, the Spanish words for A and B, the letters A and B. He builds crates to hang on their backs, and he paints signs. Biblioburro, the burro library. Then Diana fills the crates with books. Every week, Luis and Alpha and Beto set off across the countryside to faraway villages in the lonely hills. This week they travel to El Tormento. I love the illustrations in this book. When the sun burns high in the sky, Luis and the burros stop at a stream to drink the cool water. After they have had their fill, Beto balks. He does not want to cross the river. Luis pulls and pulls on Beto's reins, but Beto won't budge. "The children are waiting for us," Luis says. At last the burro gives in and steps across the stream. Deep in the hills, the path is lonelier than ever. Bird songs are the only sounds they hear. Then from deep in the shadows, a bandit leaps out. "Please let us pass," Luis says. "The children are waiting." The bandit scowls at the books. He's like, But he takes one and he growls, "Next time I want silver." And he says, "Give me your silver." But instead, boys and girls, he takes a book. What do you think he's going to do with that book? The Biblioburro continues on its way over the hills until at last Luis sees villages below. The children of El Tormento run to meet him. Luis insists on reading a story before they choose books to borrow. Doesn't that sound like sometimes our library visits? When you would come to the library, we read a story first and then you choose books to borrow. "Today I have a surprise for you," he says. He reaches behind the books and pulls out a bundle of masks. "Little piglets, put on a mask and I'll read you a tale about pigs." Once upon a time. And then I want you to look at those pictures. Hope you can see them. Sorry, it's kind of weird to hold this. If you could see that closely, those are pictures. What story do you think that is that he's reading? There's 3 pigs and there's a wolf blowing hot air or air. Does that sound like the tale of the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf to you? When the story ends, it's time for everyone to choose a book. The children hold their books close as they say goodbye and walk home. Luis and Alpha and Beto head back over and around the hills, across the grasslands and streams and into the sunset. Oh, let me show you that again. Oh, I meant to show you. What is this man down here? Where is he? Look at this man. The bandit. What is he doing? You see that? He is reading a book. The book that he took from the Biblioburro. At home, Luis feeds his hungry burros and Diana feeds her hungry husband. But then, instead of sleeping, Luis picks up his book and reads deep into the night. And far away in the hills, candles and lanterns burn as children read borrowed books deep into their night, too. And that is the end of the story. This book was written about 10 years ago, and the end notes of the book says it's based on the true story of Luis Soriano, who lives in La Gloria, a remote town in northern Colombia. An avid reader, Luis understood the transformative power of reading books because his experiences as a school teacher. He wanted to share his collection of books with the children and adults in the isolated villages and the distant hills where books were scarce. Most houses had none. Luis and his 2 burros began bringing books to the villages in 2000, so 20 years ago. He started with a collection of 70 books that has grown to over 4,800, mostly from donations. Now the Biblioburro travels to the hills every weekend. 300 people, more or less, look forward to borrowing the books Luis brings. A small corner of the world is enriched. Boys and girls, I do know that Luis Soriano was able to open an actual library in La Gloria for students. So I don't know if the I think the Biblioburro still happens, but he had so many books that his house, he didn't have room for them. So he had to build a library for all the books that he got donated from all over the world. Anyway, that is Biblioburro, and I love that story. Did you like that story, Ivan? I think Ivan likes it too. All right, till next time. Bye.